Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name's Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Friday, August 23rd. Don't have my Garmin watch on. I ran out of batteries and, we came home from Lake Placid. I brought the charger with me to Lake Placid to make sure that I had a full charge on race day, which I did. And I came home and now the thing ran out of batteries and I don't know where the charger is. It is the worst thing in life. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is. I don't know how many steps I've taken today. I don't know how I survive. I really don't. I got to find that charger. I'm pretty sure I know where it is. I got to check some bags and drawers and stuff, but I'm pretty sure I know where it is. But it is annoying. It is annoying not knowing what day it is. One thing I forgot from our last podcast, I did, so I mentioned it last time, but occasionally I come down, I do the podcast, and I get distracted. Crying babies. I had a cat pulling down my green screen. I had a lot of stuff going on. And I recorded the podcast about 3 or 4 times before I got it into a format that I liked. And then go figure, I forgot to congratulate a couple of people who participated in Ironman Mont Tremblant last weekend. And the funny part is in the first few versions, I had a whole story for them, and I just forgot to say it. One thing led to another, and I just forgot to say it. So Jen Bergstrom and John Bergstrom, husband and wife, both completed Ironman Mont Tremblant last week. I tell you, man, John kicked butt. John was out there. He was like the first non-pro that I was following out of the swim. He was like leading the bike for a long, long time at all the people I was tracking. And then he hit the run and he just kind of ran out of steam. Now, Jen struggled a little bit with the bike, I think, for her. But she made up like an hour on John on the run portion, over an hour, I think. And John finished. I was thinking that maybe John was being a good husband and waiting for her. That would have been kind of really nice. So they finished together, although no holding hands when you finish, guys. That is an automatic DQ, as we know now. That's a long story. We won't tell that now. But John wound up finishing in 16 hours, Jen in 16 and a half. Congratulations, both you guys. I apologize profusely for not mentioning it last time. And that's that, I guess. Still don't have my tattoo. I'm working on it. I've decided to go with the calf. I was torn between the shoulder or the calf. I've decided to go calf. I'm trying to do a video of it so you guys can see me wince in pain. Not very good with needles and things, but trying to get that for you guys. I gotta say, guys, the interview that we did with Grace and Dean Lindell, probably the most popular podcast we've ever done. Certainly the most popular video, has been viewed most on YouTube. And really, you know what? I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, great podcast, but honestly, it's when you have great guests, who do amazing things, and are just super nice people in general, that they just pass it around and all these people are really interested in her story. It's easy for me, it's nothing I did really. I just do what I do all the time. And these guys, very popular, very good story they had to tell. I want to thank Grace and Dean once again. I also want to thank all you guys that subscribed. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We finally eclipsed 100 subscribers. Now, I think we're sitting at 103 right now. Nick reached out to me. My friend Nick reached out to me to tell me that, hey, we're over 100. That's awesome. And I'm like, you got to be quiet when you go over 100, because what happens is when you go over 100, or when you hit 100 and you say, hey, I got 100, there's always that wise ass, and usually it's me, that will then unsubscribe, so it puts you back down to 99. It's like, oh, come on. I just, it's like, didn't like Barry Sanders once? I think he rushed past 2,000 yards, and the next play he lost 3 yards. So you can't celebrate early, because you wind up getting wise asses like me that'll just unsubscribe, and then you'll be under again. So now we're 103. I think that's a significant wise ass cushion. So hopefully, people watching this today won't won't shut me down. And hey, if you're out there, you want to support the channel, hit I think it's on this side, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. I don't even know what should the next goal be. 200, 500, 1,000. I mean, geez, I don't know. Sky's the limit here, folks. Love having you guys here, though, to listen to the podcast. Moving forward, I've had a good week. Personally, had a good week of training. I'm just kind of starting to get back into it after Lake Placid. Got Marine Corps Marathon around the corner. I've been pushing the stroller around on some runs with Ellie, which is way more difficult than real just plain running by yourself, I got to say. I wasn't really expecting it to be as difficult as it is. I mean, it's not too bad. It's just, I think the worst part is keeping your arms right here. Well, number one, your Garmin doesn't register the steps when you keep your arms steady. But if you have them, if you're doing like 3 or 4 miles, I think I did 7 miles a couple weeks ago with it. And it's just your arms like wind up, they're not used to just being static. And they get real achy and sore. But who am I to complain? I complain all the time, you guys, I know. But I'm kind of in the swing of things, and we're heading up to Maine this weekend to watch Man Maine 70.3. Our friends Jim and Joe, the same ones that ran with me down Mirror Lake Drive for Lake Placid, they are racing up in Maine doing the 70.3, and I feel like we kind of owed them the return trip. They went to Lake Placid to see me race, so we're going to go to Maine to watch them race. But I think I'm going to be drunk by noon, so I can't. I'm in training. But I did want to talk about some things. I'll tell you one thing. Steph and I are getting up on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. to run. I know for some of you guys it's not super early. For us, that's medium. We're actually waking up at 6. We got to get the baby together, put her in the stroller. We're going to run 6 miles, and then we're going to head up to Maine. So we are getting our workouts in. And I wanted to kind of talk about that today because I feel like we're in this zone now, and some of the people in the group have sort of expressed this sentiment. I feel like we're in this zone now a couple months before marathon season, right? And when I say marathon season, I'm always looking at New York, Chicago, Philly, MCM, that sort of, Hartford I'll put in there for me because it's, Northeast. And it's kind of like that marathon season. Let's just say that. So we're at that point where now it's almost like the point of no return. Like if you haven't started training, you're starting to get in trouble. Like you're in trouble if you haven't started training because you're feeling it now. It's breathing down your neck. Marine Corps Marathon, October 27th, I believe. We're talking 2 months away and less than 2 months of training if you include a taper week. And you got to beat that bridge. So if you haven't started training and if you're not really, you're kind of at the point of no return right now. You got to get a move on. You got to really put the pedal to the metal. You can't be missing days. At least that would be how I would feel if I was really far behind. Now, if you started a month or two ago, you're probably doing good. As long as you're doing, you're working hard, not missing days. You got a good plan, all that stuff. It's good. But even then, there's a tension, right? Because we're approaching race day. You're getting close, especially if it's your first time running a marathon or a half marathon or whatever you got going on. It's starting to get that tension, and you start to feel that real stress when you miss a workout, or you feel like you're going in the wrong direction, or you're not improving, and whatever impediment stands in your way right now, and the stress really starts to heighten. And so I usually have a few personal strategies that I use when I kind of feel myself slipping, and they're all different levels sort of encouragement, and some of them are simple, right? Some of them are, hey, you know what? I haven't been doing the work. At least I don't feel like I'm in a good zone right now. And I haven't, I haven't been doing what I want to do. I haven't been checking all the boxes from the workouts that I had planned. Now, if you're in that mode, the first thing I always just try is, hey, there's nothing you can do. And Jeremy Farrington talks about this all the time. There's nothing you can do about the past and the workouts that you've missed. You've already missed them. You can't start making up for missed workouts because you've already passed them. You've already lost that zone. You've already lost that. And if you try to make up for lost workouts and double down, you're risking injury. You're putting yourself in a spot that, potentially overtraining. You got to just start where you are. You got to focus, and you can't miss any more workouts. So what I do is in my mind, I try to draw a line. I say, you know what? I gotta stop this. I gotta stop these bad habits right now. I'm drawing a line right here. Everything that happened before. and let's move on and look forward. This is what I need to do. This is what I have to do. Sometimes that involves waking up early. Waking up early for me is hit and miss. I go through phases where I can get up 5 a.m. and I'll go to the pool. I can get up at 5 a.m. I'll be in the gym. I'll do the podcast. I'll do whatever. For some reason, I get into these stretches where I'm good to go at 5 a.m. And I look at people like Katie Mayo, Mary O'Connell. Who else am I thinking? I can picture her face and I can't say her name. Carla. I can't remember that last name, just brain fart. Sorry. I look at you guys, when you get up in the morning, and I get up at 7 a.m. and you've already posted your run for the day. I am in awe of people who can do that. I really am. Well, the one thing I did notice is that the one thing that you guys all seem to have is a support system. You're not going out to run by yourself. You're going out to meet people. And a lot of times meeting people holds yourself accountable. Right? So a lot of times, if you can find someone, you might even not even need that accountability to meet somebody, but find someone that, that understands what you're going through, and that, someone that you know personally, and say, hey, you know what? I got to get up at 5 a.m. because I got a long day at work, and then I got to come home and I got to make dinner, and then, we got to go out and do a whole bunch of tasks, and I think I'm just going to miss my workouts. The only way I'm going to get it in is if I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Can you call me and get my ass out of bed? That's a strategy, especially if because I like I said, I'm either getting up at 5 a.m. when I have that in the plan. I'm either getting up and doing it, and then I don't need anyone to call. I'm just all in my own head and I'm good to go. And I tell you what, never once have I ever said, when I finished a morning workout, never once have I ever said, oh, I'm so glad, or I so wish I would have just stayed in bed today. This wasn't worth it. I just wish I would have stayed in bed and not worked out and gotten this done. 100% of the time when you finish that workout, you're going to say, thank God I got that done, and be proud of yourself to do it, that you did it. So it's a matter, if you're doing those morning workouts, and you can't do them, you want to do them, but you can't do them, find a way to hold yourself accountable to that. Seriously, get someone to call you at 5:30 in the morning and tell you, hey man, you told me it was my job to get you up this morning so you could get up and get moving. And I would do that for friends. I would, if someone called me and said, hey man, I really need to wake up at 5:30, I'm having trouble. Can you just call me and yell at me? I would take that. I would be like, yeah, that's great. That's a great friend right there. That's a great move. You dial that number, it rings. Your friend wakes up because you get to go right back to bed, and then you get to yell at your friend. That's awesome. That's a win-win. I'm just saying there's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of supportive people. Find one, have them call you, get up and do your workout. Other strategies that I have. Now, if I'm banging around for a couple weeks and not getting things done, and I'm gaining weight possibly, sometimes I sell myself short on workouts. Hey, I'm supposed to do 6 miles. I do 5 or 4. Or, hey, I'm supposed to do 2 hours on a bike. I do an hour. And I kind of just don't feel like I'm doing enough or doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I need, one of the things I do is I will scour YouTube for motivational videos. You got to be careful with that though, because you can get into that YouTube loop and get stuck there for hours. Those are hours you can be training. So one of the things I do too is if I catch myself watching a lot of TV or watching a lot of YouTube, hey, get on that treadmill, put that screen right in front of your face and run, Put it right in front of your face. Put that TV on while you run. Or tell yourself, one of the things I get, like especially over the winter or during football season, I kind of reward myself and I say to myself, all right, if you're going to watch football, don't sit your ass on the couch all day and watch football. Because really, what could we do? We can sit there. You can watch the pregame shows starting at 11. You can watch the 1 o'clock games till 4, the 4 o'clock games till 7. You get a bite to eat. Then the night game is on until 11 o'clock and you're done. You're done for the day. Your day is gone. You've done nothing. Put the TV on in front of the treadmill. Run on the treadmill. Put it on in front of the bike. Run on the bike. Try to find a way to incorporate your sort of lazy habits with moving, getting up and doing something. And I watch a lot of football on that treadmill. Sometimes when I'm training for marathons, when the games start, and I'll probably do this when the NFL starts this year for MCM. So on Sunday or on Saturday or Sunday, what I'll try to do for my long run is I will try to stay on that treadmill during an entire football game. Now, this especially works for the Jets because what I'll do is I'll tell myself, because I'm a little bit superstitious. So what I'll do is I'll tell myself, I'll say, hey, if you get off the treadmill, the Jets will lose. Now, normally they lose anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if I get off early in the fourth quarter and late in the third quarter and then they blow a lead, I blame myself. It's just a little superstition that I have. So incorporate your, I would say, lazier habits with moving somehow. One of the things I've been doing now with Madden, and because I said on the podcast the other day, I said I play a lot of Madden. I throw my daughter Ellie into the playpen and I play Madden, and I feel really guilty when I do that because I should be going for a walk with her. So now sometimes what I do is turn on the Madden, I have her in the playpen, and I think to myself, what I say in the podcast yesterday, pop her into the stroller, go for a walk. Much better. I don't feel guilty when I'm done. I feel like, all right, maybe I missed the game. Maybe I could have played again. But in the end, I'm not going to miss a Madden game. You got to kind of put that into perspective a little bit. I'm not going to miss not playing Madden. I'm going to miss, doing something functional and really getting some exercise for myself. With my daughter, spending time with my daughter. So, in the end, if you look at the results and what you get out of the back end versus the near-term satisfaction you get for something like watching TV, playing Madden, it's really a no-brainer, but you just got to get up and do it and talk yourself into do it. Now to get into sort of the more, let's call them advanced motivational things that I do or things that I do to try to get myself out of the rut. And I guess let's put this under one umbrella. I guess there's two different things, but we'll put it under one umbrella. And I'm going to say what I do is I'll make a cash investment in myself. That's the way I term it. Let me explain. I need new running sneakers. I need new pairs of shorts. I need new calf sleeves. I need to get some nutrition for my long runs. I need to maybe want to buy a new shirt. Or now I think I'm actually kind of due for a new Garmin. It's 3 years old. It's still working pretty good, but I kind of feel like I'm due for a new one. It's got a crack on the front. It's still working. It's I've had issues with downloading some data. I haven't been able to. It's on the watch. The data from Lake Placid is on the watch, but won't download to my Garmin. Go figure. I don't know what to do. So there's issues with it, but it still works when I'm out. So it's still functional. But anyway, the whole point is, if I go out and I make an investment in myself, like a Garmin, or sneakers, or just calf sleeves, or anything out there that you just spend a decent sum of money, it makes me feel worse if I don't do it. So if I go out and buy, I just bought Ultra running shoes first time, and this wasn't because it just was because I needed them. And, but I tell you, I want to run in them. I want to go out and run in them. I want to do a run because I want to check out my new shoes, the new investment that I just made. And sometimes, and that's the way I term it, make an investment in yourself. When you make an investment in yourself, you want to follow through a little bit more. You're like, geez, otherwise what a waste of money, right? What a waste of money if you do that. Another thing that falls under that umbrella, something else that you could do and make an investment in yourself, is if you have a marathon 2 months from now, go schedule a 10K in 2 weeks from now. Go schedule a half marathon in a month. Look one up. Find one that's near you or not near you, whatever. Make that shorter term goal. Get a shorter term goal in there that will help you get ready for your long term goal. Hey, maybe you're just so spent mentally about looking forward to this gargantuan task that you've put on the calendar a year ago that you're so mentally spent because for 10 months you've been thinking about it and you've been doing pretty good and now you kind of hit a rut. But you've been thinking about that on your schedule for so long and now it's really starting to weigh on you. Maybe you just need something in the middle, something different to focus on for the short term. Schedule that half marathon for a month from now and then focus on the half marathon and not the marathon. You'll get good training in. You need to do that half. Maybe you can't even do a half today. Which is troubling, but And it's the same thing. It's an investment in yourself, right? You're registering for something. It's probably going to cost you some money, but you're doing it for yourself, and so that you can get at least a positive focus on something. Positive focus on something out there that will take your mind off the gargantuan task ahead. That will make it seem less daunting of a journey. There's that word again. Of a journey to get to that final destination. That you have you have a midterm destination that you can focus on and sort of lose some of that stress. And again, it's an investment in yourself. So now you've signed up for a half marathon, and you got to do it. There's no getting out of it. You have to do it. You got to make yourself do it. And of course, some people just have bad years. I've had them. When I DNF'd Phoenix a few months ago or whatever it was, I felt really awful after that race. When I did New York in like 6 hours and 15 minutes, and I wasn't prepared for that race, and I struggled through miles 15 through 20, like I've never struggled before, and wanted to quit and didn't. That was a horrible year for me. I didn't train hard enough. When I DNF'd Lake Placid last year, horrible training year for me. Sometimes you're just off track, and I think it's important to forgive yourself, and it's important just to try, instead of just to dwell on the negative, So what did I do when I DNF'd Lake Placid? I signed up for the next year. I gave myself new goals. 3 months later, I PR'd a full marathon in Hartford. Try to figure out what makes you want this. Why do you want to do this so bad? Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. People have bad years. People have, people can't get into it. You can't, maybe you're injured. Injuries suck, and you got to baby them, and you're told to baby them. But sometimes you're like, this injury, it hurts, but not bad enough to stop me. But if you continue training, there's a risk that you could make it worse, especially like those nagging, stress fractures, shin splints, those kinds of injuries. You don't want to make them worse. But then your goal is right there. But what you have to do is, look, if you're going to make that decision to go for it, you're going to have to deal with the consequences if they come. And the consequences are either you make it through, you deal with the pain, you make it through, you reach your goal, or you make it worse. And hey, it was your choice. You know what I mean? It's you made the choice to kind of push yourself through that pain, and if it, then you just kind of have to gather yourself back up again. Assess where you are, and make a new schedule, make new goals. Bad years happen, bad times happen. You just gotta have to have a strategy to deal with it. Because what winds up happening to me, what has wound up happening to me in the past, is you put together a plan. When it goes to hell, you get depressed, you get upset, you get mad at yourself, and then you just let it all go. And I don't know, for me, that has always been an unproductive thing. Stay in it. Yeah, I'll tell you what's another great strategy. Cheer your friends on. Find your friends that are doing things. Go to a marathon and volunteer. Go to a race and volunteer. Be involved. Be around people that are doing things the things that you want to do. And that will help you motivate you. You know what motivates me to no end? And we talked about this a little bit with Grace and Dean. What motivates me to no end is when we go to Lake Placid and I'm just sitting there amongst these athletes. Some of them aren't even racing, but like I said in the podcast, you get up in the morning, I'm walking 3 blocks to go to breakfast at 6 a.m. and there's 20 people on bicycles going that way, and I've passed 5 people running on the street in a 3-block walk, and you just think, man, I should be working out. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you have to kind of surround yourself sometimes with the people that are doing the things that you want to do. Does that make sense? So that's my message for today. I like this podcast. I think this was pretty good. I didn't know where I was going to go with this one, but I feel good with it. So yeah, and those are really my strategies. It's draw the line. Start with drawing the line. Just draw the line mentally in your brain. Nothing I can do about what happened before this moment, but what I can change is what's going forward. Do that, and then try to be productive. And you know what? You might wind up drawing that line over and over and over again. Eventually, you could get sick and tired of drawing the line. And really, when that starts happening, you really got to think of some other kind of strategy. But sometimes it works for me. Sometimes I just meant it. This is it after today. And I've done it before. One of the things I did after today, I'm a cyclist. I'm on the bike every day for like weeks, and it works. It works sometimes. Draw the line. That doesn't work. Schedule a race, make an investment in yourself, find a friend and support system to help you do the things that you want to do. All those things are productive. And I wish you the best of luck, guys. Race season upon us. MCM, Marine Corps Marathon. I cannot wait. So many people going down there. One final thing. If you guys have strategies of your own, I'd love to hear them. Let's hear them. What do you guys do when you're in a rut? What do you do when you're missing your training or you're not living up to the goals that you had set in mind? And, hey, by now I should have been running a 6-minute mile. Not me. That would be somebody much faster than me. By now I should have been running a 6-minute mile, but I'm still at 8 minutes. So what the hell went wrong? Don't dwell on that. You know what I mean? What are your strategies for kind of getting over those humps when you're not as focused as you want to be? You know, do you fall apart? What do you do when you fall apart? How do you regroup? How do you regather? What are your strategies for keeping yourself in line? I'd love to hear them. Write them in the comments. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can send me a message. You can put them on our Facebook group. Go to facebook.com/groups/ordinary marathoners. Add yourself to that group. If you're not a part of it, we'll put you right through. Remember, that's about it for today, I guess. That's about it for today. That's all I got to say. Looking forward to heading up to Maine this weekend. Going to try to bring the video camera, take some video shots, and put something together for Ironman Maine 70.3. You know, I got a terrible road game, but I figure I'm not racing this week. I should bring the camera or at least take pictures of other people. So all that said, guys, have a great weekend. Remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.
Remember to like our video and subscribe to our channel.